Is the United States to blame over what just happened in Gaza? Well, we're going to address that in today's video because we are now hearing that Iranian proxies are now going to step up what they have been doing to us in the Middle East and in the Red Sea simply because of what happened the other day in Gaza. If you're not sure exactly what happened, I will address that in just a moment. All I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. So what just happened over in Gaza? Well, look at this. It says carnage at Gaza food aid site amid Israeli gunfire. Here's what we know. Now I want to play you a clip. This clip is going to be a very short clip, but I want to show you what happened and kind of explain the whole situation. Here's the clip. So in this clip, what you're seeing, people right here in this dark spot, this is actually an aid truck, okay? They're delivering food, and there's one down here. There's some up here. You can see them, all right? You can see these different trucks. Now, the reason why I want to show you this is because these people are storming the trucks. They're trying to get food for their family. They're trying to get additional aid. That's what they're trying to get. Okay, so we can't blame them for that. But here's the reason why there was a lot of concerns. People have been waiting for these aid trucks to come in through the northern or into northern Gaza through the border. But we have seen countless times where the trucks have not entered. Now, once these trucks entered, people weren't waiting for the truck to stop and form a one little line and they hand them out very easily. No, they were storming the truck. They were pretty much raiding the truck before it ever stopped. And this is what caused, according to eyewitnesses, the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, to actually fire at civilians in Gaza. And then all panic broke loose. Okay, people started running. They were still trying to raid the trucks. They were running. The truck drivers were driving away, ran over many people, as you could see from just these images, right? Just here, you can see how many people are there. The trucks have nowhere to go, so they're going to run them over, is their plan. Well, guess what? Saw 104 people lose their life. Over 700 people are severely injured because of what happened there. Now, the United States is still attempting to pass legislation for Ukraine that's going to send $60 billion to Ukraine, but also about $14 billion to Israel. Well, let's listen to this. I want you to listen to this. This is President Biden because he said that as of Monday, so in just a few days, he believed that we would have a ceasefire in Israel, okay, from Israel to Hamas in Gaza. That because on I believe March 10th is the start of Ramadan. So he believed that as of this coming Monday, we are going to have a ceasefire that could potentially last all month. Well, listen to what he had to say just the other day.
We know what's happening in Gaza City. More than 100 civilians were killed.
We're checking that out right now. There's two competing versions of what happened. I don't have an answer yet.
Are you worried that will complicate negotiations?
I know it will.
So the reporter asked, is he worried that this is going to pretty much, well, is it going to make it harder for negotiations? And he says, I know it will. It's going to make it very difficult. But one of the things that the United States is trying to do at this time, and I'll lay out a few of the current issues. One, we got a U.S. southern border problem. We have a migrant crisis. We have issues in many states, especially sanctuary cities, where there's too many migrants, not enough resources. That's just here in the U.S. Then we have an issue between Russia and Ukraine, which we're trying to fund with $60 billion to Ukraine. We have an issue with China and Taiwan, which we're trying to stay out of, but at the same time support Taiwan. You have an issue with Israel and Hamas. That's happening in Gaza, which is we are seeing. But because of what's happening in Gaza and taking the lives of over 30,000 civilians in Gaza, we now have an issue with the United States and Iran and Iranian-backed proxies. This is Hezbollah, Hamas, and even the Houthis attacking people in the Red Sea. So the United States has a lot of issues, but many of which stem from Israel and Hamas. I want to play you something else. This is from Senator Bernie Sanders. He was talking to a reporter over on CNN. Okay? And I want to play this to you because, well, he's one of the ones that has been saying we should not be funding Israel. Why are we giving Israel any money? Well, listen to this.
All over this country, people are looking at what's going on in Gaza and really cannot believe what they're seeing. I mean, it's not only that 30,000 Palestinians have been killed and 70,000 wounded, 2/3 of whom are women and children. But Caitlin, what we are looking at this moment is the starvation of hundreds of thousands of children. And that is because of Israeli bombardments, and that is because of the restrictions at the border preventing humanitarian aid from getting in. This is absolutely unacceptable. And in my view, as I've said this a million times, the United States should not be giving Netanyahu and his extreme right-wing government another nickel for their war efforts that are killing so many innocent Palestinians.
So right there, he says the United States should not be giving Israel and Netanyahu another nickel. But yet, you want to know how much money we are planning to send Israel based off the current bill that they're discussing? Look at this. Suspending related to Israel. About $14.1 billion in the bill would go to support Israel and U.S. military operations in the region. About $4 billion would go to boost Israel's air defenses, with another $1.2 billion for the Iron Beam, a laser weapon system designed to intercept and destroy missiles. There's also about $2.5 billion to support U.S. military operations in the region. So, a lot of money. Okay? And down here, though, I want to read you this last one. This one right here. Okay? It says the legislation also contains $9.2 billion in humanitarian assistance to provide food, water, shelter, and medical care to civilians in Gaza and the West Bank, Ukraine, and others caught in war zones around the world. I don't know how much of the $9.2 billion is going to go to Gaza and the West Bank versus how much is going to go to Ukraine and others in war zones around the world. We don't know that exactly. But that's part of the problem. How much money is going to go to Israel? Israel is the one that is, because even though Hamas first attacked Israel, in Israel attacked civilians. That's the reason why Israel responded. But it's a huge difference between seeing 1,000 people lose their life versus 30,000. It's a huge, huge difference. Now, here's what you can expect moving forward. And here's what people are saying. The United States is being looked at as part of the problem. And us here in the U.S., some are saying that the Biden administration has to do more. We just have to do more. But this is also why we're going to see many protests. So be ready. Be ready for protests all over the U.S., all over the world. Expect protests to happen. Pro-Palestinian protests are going to start to happen more and more. We're already seeing them in some major cities. But the expectation is that these are only going to increase because of what just happened and President Biden and the Biden administration still trying to provide funding for Israel. So we're going to see what happens moving forward. All I can tell you is the ceasefire is likely not going to happen, especially immediately. Funding to Israel, if it's still being discussed, which it is, this is going to turn into a problem, and many people are not going to pass that bill, which means funding to Ukraine is likely not going to happen either. But there's a lot of issues happening right now. As soon as we get to the bottom of this, as soon as we get more information, I promise I will fill you in on all the latest news and updates. But that is what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing. I'll see you guys on the next one.